I'm walking to a place where I'm going to show you guys in a bit, which will be related to our episode today. But while I'm walking there, let me just give you guys an update on the COVID situation here in Hong Kong. Things have gotten a little bit out of hand, rather, these few weeks. We have seen resurgence of COVID-19 infections here in the city. We are seeing double digits cases again. Now, I know for those who are, say, in the US or in Europe, double digits, it's really nothing. But in Hong Kong, we have had days and streaks of having single digit cases only. We've been doing quite good, but apparently the fourth wave appeared to be hitting Hong Kong again. So we're trying to be really vigilant here, and as you can see, I'm always wearing a mask if I'm in an outdoor situation. Hi Pablo, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to show you, I'm actually walking outside Legislative Council, the Legislature in Hong Kong, and just next door is the government office. It's a really nice day today. We can see you see a lot of people actually picnicking here, these are, most of them are domestic helper in Hong Kong. You see them carrying some bags. Today is their only day off in Hong Kong. It's Sunday, so you can see a lot of them having a chill time with their friends here. But other than that, so the COVID situation, also another thing that it's quite disappointing to some people is that Hong Kong has set up a travel bubble with Singapore, which was supposed to kickstart today actually. So some of those people who have booked flights to Singapore, they're supposed to be able to leave today, including some of my journalist friends who will be traveling to Singapore to cover the whole travel bubble scheme. But unfortunately, the bubble bursted before it can start. Just yesterday, the government announced that they are going to suspend the scheme because of the resurgence of COVID-19 infections in Hong Kong. That's, of course, as a precaution for, not only the Hong Kong people, but also Singaporean residents, right? And so here we are at the Legislative Council. If you guys have any questions about the COVID-19 situation in Hong Kong, feel free to pop questions in the comment section. I just want to show you guys this. So as you can see, it's not very exciting. It's a lot of water barricades we're seeing here compared to the other side, which is, camping, or not really camping. We have those helpers setting up the tents just for their little picnic day. But over here, this side, it was just across the road. All right. As you can see, this building here, it's actually the Legislature in Hong Kong, and it's heavily barricaded, and it has been like that for, I would say, at least half a year, I would say. And the reasons for that, for those who have been following Hong Kong's news, is that because of the anti-government protests, there have been a lot of attacks and protests around the government complex, and that's why the Legislature and the government office have been very heavily barricaded by these water barricades. They are really, really heavy, and just as a journalist, sometimes you do a stand-up, you do a piece of camera, for those who understand what I said. It's a really frustrating sight because you're trying to get the Legislature as your background, but then all you can see is really the water barricades. So unfortunately, that's the case. Let me see. How powerful the Legislature in Hong Kong? Well, I wouldn't say it's powerful, but it's part of our checks and balance, right? We have, it's part of the separation of powers. We have the executive branch, we have the legislature branch, and then we also have the judicial branches, right? So these are commonly known as separation of powers. And so the legislature are supposed to, they are the lawmaking body. And so when the government proposes something, say, I want to introduce a law, say restricting people's disrespect to the national anthem or the national flag, then the bill has to go through legislature to get passed, right? Oh, do we have any problem with the audio or the pictures? Seems like we have some audience saying that they can't really hear me, or the picture froze. I'll try to stay here for a bit so that it's I don't get too right, but others seems to be seeing it fine. Okay, good to know that. So here you go. You see the background behind me. This is the legislature, and actually let me just show you this real quick design. If you can see, it's almost like, it's hollow in the middle, and there's a reason for this design, or rather an idea or story behind this design. It's so it's basically like a door, but with the door with a gate opened. And the reasons for that, according to the government, when it designed the government complex, is that it will always be an open door, and whenever people have, opinions, recommendations, suggestions, criticisms, they would be open to all those opinions. And so that is the original design idea. But look at the water barricades here that have been here for more than 6 months, I would say, since the anti-government protests started last year. It's quite an irony here. And so this week I just want to show you guys, we've been talking a lot about the legislature, and also, disqualifications of lawmakers, and that's why I just really want to bring you guys here to actually show you what does our legislature look like. So this is what it looks like right now. Barricades and barricades, more barricades. This is what we're seeing here. And yes, as you pointed out, and as I pointed out before, it's quite ironic, but this is the situation here. And there isn't really a lot of protests going on in the city right now. So, but the government and also other authorities, departments are just doing that for safety measure, just in case, people try to, make any attacks or whatever. And I just want to give you guys another kind of update. So last week, for those who have followed, we spoke to former lawmaker Ted Ho, and actually just after a few days after we talked to him, he has been arrested for a protest that happened in this legislative council a couple months ago, and it was because the opposition lawmakers, they have been, it was back in May, and they staged a protest in the legislature. So they were passing a bill, they were discussing a bill, and Ted Ho and the lawmakers, they went up to the podium of our president, of our legislature president. They threw some foul-smelling liquid, and so because of that, they have been arrested, and they are facing charges right now for causing harm to other people, whether that means mental or physical harm. So yeah, that's the update on the former lawmaker. There are some other people who were arrested because of this incident as well. So Ted Ho, the former lawmakers that we talked with last week, was one of those people. Of course, they have called the arrest and the charges ridiculous, saying that those are just political persecution from the government, by the government. So that is one of the updates I have for you guys, especially on Ted, the former lawmaker that we have talked to last week. Brett, it's asking, is that charge under the new national security law? Well, regarding Ted Ho and other former lawmakers, no, because we have it's well, it's a different set of law. I should say it's different from the national security law. So the legislature, actually, we have a set of laws that govern people's acts and behaviors in the legislative council. So they were charged under that law. It was because they violated some, rules and regulations in the legislative council, because they acted, they went rogue, basically. If some authorities would put it that way. Is it just my? Oh, it's probably just my screen. My screen just suddenly went darker. I was wondering. I thought it was something wrong, but okay, everything seems fine. And other updates, political updates I want to give you guys is that so for those who have been following the Hong Kong protest, there were two violent clashes at two of the university campuses in Hong Kong with the police. And a few days ago, it was sort of the first anniversary of that violent clash. And some of the students, they staged a protest on campus that day. And just one day after that, the National Security Police, the National Security Branch of the Hong Kong Police, they went to the campus, conducted a search because of that protest. They said because they heard from the school actually called the police about the protest, saying that some people have been, chanting pro-independence slogans. They were holding banners that have pro-independence message or wordings, and so the police went to the campus and conducted a search. And no one have been arrested so far for that protest, but the move by the police was seen as quite a controversial move, because it was more like the students were commemorating what happened a year ago on their campus at their school. But of course, I wasn't there. I wasn't at the protest scene, so I can't be sure if people have chanted pro-independence slogan. I cannot personally verify that. But this is what happened. The police have went to the campus to see if there's any violations. No arrests have been made so far. And other than the university and the pro-democracy lawmakers being arrested, there are more people who have been arrested just in the past 2 to 3 weeks, including a lot of people who care about this person, which is Grandma Wong. She has been arrested again, this time by the Hong Kong police. It was a minor charge against her. It was her having some sort of physical contact with a security guard outside courthouses some time ago. So it wasn't a very serious charge against her, but a lot of people still see that as political persecution, just like some of those former lawmakers described, saying that the government, the police are just trying to find whatever faults that they could find, or finding dirt on him, some of you may say, to arrest them and to just punish them for whatever reasons. And so this is the latest situation in Hong Kong. Brian McQueen, you're asking questions about the new Federal Republic of China. Sorry, I did not see that question, and I'm not sure. I did not follow that, so I'm not sure what to tell you about that, and I'm not familiar with the topic, so I'm not going to have any thoughts that I can offer you as of this moment, but thank you for raising that question or giving me this comment. So yeah, this is what we have right now. Just giving you guys one more look of the legislature which is heavily barricaded right now. See, there's a little cute dog there. Brad, no. So Grandma Wong has not been in prison. She's not in prison. As far as I know right now, she is in the hospital because she was supposed to appear in court, but she said that I think she said that she was feeling ill, so she was sent to the hospital instead of the courthouse for her hearing. But as of now, I don't think she's in prison. Yes, so that is the update. Oops, there we go. My phone froze a little bit too. But yeah, other than that, that is the update. And really, more people have been arrested in Hong Kong. It seems like, according to some of the critics, they said, the police, the government, they are trying to have mass arrest of a lot of people pro-democracy, the opposition, and they're not only arresting lawmakers or former lawmakers in that case. We also see, journalists being arrested. We also see just, normal citizen getting arrested. I think it was just yesterday. One of our so one person, his nickname Jess. He's a radio host, and he also started a crowdfunding campaign, sort of, to find money, crowdfunding, to support people who, or what we call 手足, brothers and sisters. So they were raising money for those who have, participated in the protest. A lot of them young people, for those who have court cases, like lawsuits with them, or those who need to, go to Taiwan and study. So this radio host, he started this crowdfunding campaign, and he was being arrested just yesterday, and he was accused of money laundering. Now we don't know what evidence or what kind of information that the police have had on him to accuse him of money laundering. It was not him, it was also his wife, I believe. So we're really seeing a lot of police taking a lot of action against the opposition in Hong Kong, not only just former lawmakers. And speaking of the legislature, really, because of the lack of pro-democracy or the opposition lawmakers in the legislature, will very likely see controversial bills get passed, because it's just the pro-government or pro-Beijing camp in the legislature. So we don't know what's going to happen. This term of legislature will last until September, until there's hopefully will be another election, because the original election has been delayed because of COVID-19. And so originally that plan was to postpone the election to next September. So we're still about like 10 months away from that. Potentially that would happen, assuming that by then COVID will not hinder the election from going on again. So yeah, again, quite ironic sight. We have happy people camping, picnicking here, and then just across, it was the legislature very heavily barricaded. I think I can walk into it for a little bit. So here it is. I believe I was here reporting for you guys as well when the protests were happening here a year ago. I walked past this route. It's the exact same route, just outside the legislature, many times. And here we are, the same road, but it's all different right now. and you can see that. Let me just go near here. So inside, so those here, the behind the white barricades here, it was actually the protest area for protesters or just for citizens, outside Legislature. But right now it's also heavily barricaded, and no one can actually. I mean, you can still go inside, but you will have to go through, like security checks or whatever, or tell people like why you're there. So yeah, this is what we have right now in Hong Kong. This is our legislature with barricades. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of In a Nutshell with Almond, giving you some COVID updates as well as what is it like, the political situation here. So thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions or you can't tune in this time, I know I pushed it ahead a little bit again, the schedule. So do check us out. Do check me out. Check my channel out. Thank you so much for joining. And saw this comment from Brad. No matter the country, it's never a good sign when the leaders put barricades between them and the people. Well, yes, I would have to agree with that. And it's not only just, the government and the people. It's also for journalists, the press as well. It was supposed to be, let me show you guys again. It was supposed to be the open door that would welcome all sort of opinions, criticisms, proposals, suggestions. But right now, as you can see, barricades over here. Not so open, I would say. Quite an ironic scene. So here we are. This is the situation that we have in Hong Kong right now. And so, yeah, thank you so much for joining this episode, and send me, DM me or leave me comments. If you have any questions or some topics that you want me to cover, let me know. And follow me on social media as well. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy this week's episode, and we will see you again next week. Bye, and stay safe, everyone.